Hello, my name's Michael. Again here, Bora Educator. I'm here with my colleague, my friend, as he will introduce himself. I would want to remind our viewers to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to also like us, because we're trying to create awareness on how we can build use cases in cryptocurrency, in Africa, in Uganda at large, and the world at large. So please follow us on our Instagram, on our YouTube channel, on Twitter. As per the links, you always see them onto below down there. So my colleague, please introduce yourself to our viewers and our followers.
My name is Charles Trevor Kauchi, a student lead at Makerere University Business School. It's located in Nakawa. Yeah.
That's good. Nice meeting you, and I hope we're going to have a wonderful discussion.
Yes.
I want to ask you a few things about student life. Last time you were here and you were discussing with my colleague Robert, but I also want to ask you a few things about how is the life of students. The life of students at university. How do you guys manage your lives? How do you financially? How do you live? I hear some of you live in hostels. Some of you are doing business. Some of you are. You're trying to maneuver or to manage life at campus. How do you manage life at campus as students? And which challenges do you have as students at campus?
Yeah, how we financially manage our lives as students is that first and foremost we have the government students, and these government students always get the government allowances. But realize that the government allowances most times they are too little to cater for the government students. So we shall have instances whereby me as a government student, the moment I get my allowances, they can't even cater for my hostel. So they are all gone there and then. But then we need to have some extra cash on ourselves. So that's how we end up finding ourselves that I have my small business, I'm selling pizzas, I'm selling earrings, I'm selling watches, I'm selling screen guards, and these small things we do are the ones that enable us to get that small income that you always have as pocket money. The small gigs that we usually do, because we realize that we always need some cash on ourselves, and we shall have friends who keep on telling us that we have this and this, we have that and that. So we just find ourselves having these gigs. For example, now how I got to know Bora Finance, it was from a friend who came and told me that there's a certain company, it wants followers, come and we do this, let's do this and this, and we shall be able to continue with life. So that's how we briefly manage our lives, living aside the parents' upkeep they keep sending us. We also always need this extra income. So we always get it from the small businesses people have and from these different gigs we always do.
Basically, you're trying to tell us that is, despite this, the funds, the money that you get from your parents, you still have challenges financially to manage your life at campus. The money that you get is not enough. I want to know how do students from needy families or students from not to do well families manage life or manage to pay their tuition in time, that they can be able to study and complete their courses. And basically, I also want to know, assuming a student has not yet completed paying fees, how do institutions or how does the university handle such students?
To begin with your last question, how does the university handle such situations? For example, in MOOCs, the administration always caters for a certain percentage. They can tell us that we are going to give you a 60% rate whoever is done with a 60% rate, please come and get a provisional permit, because we always have the examination permits that enable us access these rooms. So they always give you that provisional permit so that you can access the rooms, but they do not give you a full permit. It's provisional. By provisional, I mean that out of the 6 papers you do, they have given you only 3 to do. So when the 3 are done, by the time you come back to get another permit or another allowance to take you into the examination room, we shall realize that they expect you to have added something, because by the time those 3 papers are done, we shall see that we have moved close to like a week or 2 weeks. So in those 2 weeks, at least they expect you to maybe have added a 200,000 or some 300,000. So they do it in that way so that they can also be on the side of the students, because there are some students who really can't pay all the tuition at once. So they always have that gap they give, that you have given you 3 papers, but by the time you come back to get permission to do the other 3, we expect you to come with something. So I can pay my 200,000, I come back, they're like, okay, we have given you 2 more papers, like that. So we shall realize that by the time we finish the exams, I have a balance of around 200,000 that I will have carried to the next semester, and we keep on moving on that way.
Okay, I understand. So there is still a challenge on funding, yes, basically from students. They need to they do a lot of things to make sure they are done with their tuition, yes, and they are able to be allowed to sit their exams. What happens to those who really fail, those who don't completely fail to pay up the 60% and fail to even get any funding from government, or what happens to those students?
To those students, we usually see that they end up dropping out.
They drop out?
Yeah. Or actually, most do not drop out, but we take that to be a missed paper.
Yes.
Because we realize that with the university life, it's kind of not that hard. That if you miss a paper, you're gone. No. You can miss it, but then just pull back a little. Because we have most of our friends who would have been with us in 3rd year, but due to the financial circumstances, they are now in year 2. Yeah, so we realize that they always have those little challenges when it comes to time of doing exams. That by the time we reach to do exams, they are not able to complete fully. Okay. And we realize that we can have these students who go on trying to liaise with the different administration offices. So I'll come, maybe I've paid my 700,000 out of the 1.6. I talk to one office, the office sends me to the other. So we realize that by the time I'm accepted to do the paper, my fellows are already like an hour into the paper. So by the time I come to sit for my paper, I've already lost an hour. I have 2 hours. I've been up and down, I haven't been in books. So that means I have to first concentrate. By the time I'm going to concentrate, that's an hour gone. So we realize that even this contributes to a failing percentage of these students. Yes. So if in any way this financial distress can be tackled down, we shall realize that they are very, very, very good student leaders, or very good future leaders who will be helped in this way.
And that's what Bora is heading to. I hope you got a little bit background about what Bora is trying to bring to students, and what we are trying to build across the entire globe for students. Yeah. So you're convinced that the concept that Bora is trying to build or trying to bring across will be a very important aspect when it comes to paying students, or students being able to be kept at school and they are able to finish with their papers in time, because Bora is trying to build a concept that will fund or be able to fund students their fees, that they are not interrupted with their courses that they are doing at campus. So you're very conversant about that. You're sure that when this is brought on board in universities in Uganda or Africa, it will be able to help many students that they are able to complete their studies.
Yeah, it will surely do so. Yeah. Because we realize that when we take it to the point of being diplomatic, that let's go to the principal's office, let's go to the academic registrar's office, let's beg, let's tell them my parent couldn't raise this amount. Realize that this is both constraining to both the student and the administration, because the administration will be like, we need money to fund the staff, the what, and even us, we're like, we don't have the money, but please, we want to do the exams. So we find it that in this mix, there's always a problem, there's always the affected party, and this is the student. But then if at all we can have the concept of Bora Finance, at least we shall realize that yes, at least I've gotten the funding, let me concentrate, let me read my books. At least the CGPA I would have got from having those 2 missed hours, or those 2 disturbed hours in my exam, at least I will be compensated with my 3 hours of full concentration into the exam. And I realize that by the time I sit, I have concentrated and I'm ready to do the exam, rather than having to move to different offices, because these provisional permits are always given to you on the day you're going to do the exam. If at least maybe they were given a day before, people would have concentrated, but you get it on the day. So by the time you come to do your exam, you have 2 chances. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. You're either going to enter early or you're going to enter late. So this has been a little challenging. And if you are to look at it in the perspective of future leaders, we see that in our society right now, we usually base successful people according to their results. Yeah, so if me, I've concentrated enough and maybe I have my 80%, people will take me to be successful, they'll take me to be a great man. But there is that person who has missed part of his time and he hasn't performed well. No one will look at him as a successful person, yet he might have bigger qualities or higher qualities than I would have.
Okay. In the previous session, I heard you talk about the loan sharks and loan students getting loans from their fellow students or other small organizations within the campuses or universities that offer loans to students.
Yeah.
What happens if a student is unable to pay up the loan to the person who has lent, to the lender? What happens to that student who has failed to pay to pay back the loan or the money borrowed?
Yeah. Okay, for the experience I've had, I haven't yet heard of too much of the sagas that have happened if this one has failed to do this. Because even these people who are giving out loans realize that in the long run, if you have to make more research, they actually don't give out loans. Because let me give an instance. If it was you and I come to get a loan and I'm leaving you with my laptop, how sure are you that I'll pay the money? I can decide to leave the laptop. So realize that even these people who are lending the money, they have some critical procedures they have to embark on to give the loan.
Their main agenda is to get the student's property. That's what we're trying to put across, that by the time they go into lending the money to the student, they don't care whether you're going to pay back or not. Their most important thing is what collateral security are you giving them. If the collateral security is like a laptop and an iPhone or something like that, even if you don't pay back the loan that they've lent you, as long as they have the other collateral, which is maybe 2 or 3 times of the money they've given you, they don't care. So so by the time the student goes to borrow the money, he must have a collateral security which is 3-4 times the money is going to borrow. Yeah. Something like that.
It can be like 3 or 4 or actually equivalent to the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we understand where we are heading. So Bora Finance, as we said, is a community that we're trying to build around, and this community will when it comes to collateral, the collateral and everything will be within the community, because the proposals will be coming from the students who wants loans, and then the proposal will be passed on to the Bora DAO community, because it's a DAO community where the students themselves or the community within the Bora Finance or Bora DAO will be able to select and vote and say such and such a student requires to be paid a loan or to be given a loan onto his, so that he can be able to pay up his tuition, something like that.
Yeah.
So within Bora, we won't have things like collateral or bring a laptop, bring your phone, or maybe something like that. So do you think Bora Finance concept is something vital, very important when it comes to giving students loans.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very important one. Because when we realize the loans we have been talking about, realize that these people giving out loans are instead, with the constraints they have, they are giving them to the privileged people.
Yes.
But then we want to look at the less privileged.
Yes.
How are they being helped? Realize that they are not being helped.
Yes.
Because if I'm from the east or deep in the village, I have my button phone. My parents have not been able to send the tuition in time. How am I going to get the loan? I don't have a laptop, I don't have a smartphone, I only have my button phone. So we shall realize that now these people who are less privileged aren't given the platform to be able to raise these funds.
Okay.
So with the Bora concept, I feel that it will be open to everyone, that even the less privileged person at least can write a proposal. So we realize that, and they won't be having the collateral as you said. So we realize that now this will be now engaging everyone, every student. It will be engaging every student, and it will be a very productive one, which is unlike these loan people, where we see that to get the loan, you must be having something. And even if you're my friend, you can't come and tell me that please help me with your laptop and put it as collateral, because I also need the laptop. So realize that there is a bigger part of the students that is being left out with these loan people. But with the concept of Bora, I believe that everyone will be helped.
Yeah, I need to ask you a little bit, one more question maybe before we end. There is cryptocurrency as a whole and blockchain as a whole has not yet been fully, which is the other word I wanted to cut across there, fully regulated in the country.
Yeah.
What is the view? What is the view? I'm very sure your ears and whatever are on the ground in campuses or university.
Yeah.
What are views? What are the few voices you heard about students talk about cryptocurrency in campuses? Do you think there is more need of us doing more awareness about cryptocurrency, about Bora, about blockchain? Do you think there is more need of us to continuously doing awareness, to carry out awareness, so that students and the administration, they may get to know what exactly a Bora and what other things are brought or they can benefit in cryptocurrency? Do you think there is more need for us to continue doing awareness?
Yeah, a lot of need that is needed. Is there a lot of need that is needed?
Yes.
We need to put in more effort in the awareness, because we realize that most of these people don't differentiate what cryptocurrency is from online scammers. So the moment someone tells me that, because if you go back behind, realize that there have been some online businesses that these students get involved in, the charge anytime, the BLQ football. So people that take it that anything that is done online and you can get money from it, we take it to be cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Yeah, so by the time I do that and people are scammed, because there are very many people who have been scammed of their tuition,
Yes.
of their upkeep. So this is always creating a negative impact and a negative thought about cryptocurrency. So by the time you come to tell a student that I'm from Bora Finance, would you like to know what we do? They're like, Chakoliwa aim global. So they take anything to be around or entangled around cryptocurrency, blockchain, they take it to be a scam.
Okay.
So we need a lot of awareness to change the perspective they have.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you heard it from him. We need to do more awareness about cryptocurrency, about Bora Finance, about Bora DAO, and about blockchain in Uganda or in Africa, because the concept we're trying to build across Africa, across Uganda, across the entire globe, these are all new concepts. They've not yet been regulated. Countries are just trying to come up with regulations in different countries. We've heard about countries, we've heard about UK that is trying to build a crypto hub. We've heard about US and other countries which are trying to regulate cryptocurrencies. But for us in Uganda, we are majorly trying to do awareness. And here we are trying to build an awareness onto Bora DAO. And Bora DAO is going to be built, or is built on Cardano blockchain. So we still need a lot of effort, a lot of work to do on how to build awareness about this whole concept. I want to thank you so much for being part of this, and we will build, and we believe we will do much more to come to you, to come to universities, to come to campuses, and build awareness and get to see how we can build this whole concept. Thank you so much. Thank you for us viewers. Don't forget, please subscribe, be part of this, like us, and please, this is not a financial advice. This is, we are trying to carry out what we call an awareness. Thank you so much.